There is a specific and genuinely rare kind of person who is simply kind to strangers, consistently, quietly, without ever expecting anything back, helping someone with no audience watching, offering patience to someone who will never remember them, treating people who can do nothing for them exactly the same way they treat people who can. Most people reserve their real warmth for people who matter to their own advancement and treat genuine strangers with a kind of practical indifference. And decades later, something becomes visible in this rare person's life, a genuinely wide, genuinely warm circle of people who show up for them, help them, remember them, in ways that feel almost disproportionate to how quiet and unnoticed the original kindness ever actually was. Carl Jung had a real explanation for why consistent quiet kindness toward people who cannot repay it directly so often comes back around in considerably larger form. Jung believed that a person's genuine character, not their performed strategic persona, is most accurately revealed in exactly the moments nobody else is watching, and that consistent quiet kindness towards strangers reflects something considerably more real and considerably more durable than kindness performed specifically for people who can offer something in return. This genuine character, expressed consistently over years, does not simply disappear into the void each time it is offered. It quietly accumulates in the memories of dozens or hundreds of people who happen to be there, each carrying their own small, specific memory of a moment this person was kind for no reason at all. This explains the strange, delayed abundance that so often surrounds this rare kind of person later in life, since the actual mechanism was never a single direct transaction, help given expecting help returned. It was an accumulation, across years and across countless small unnoticed interactions, of genuine goodwill quietly stored in dozens of different people, any one of whom might, at some unexpected point, become exactly the person able to help the same individual in return, often in ways neither person could have predicted at the time the original kindness was offered. If you recognize this rare quality in yourself, hear this clearly: being kind to people who cannot repay you, consistently without an audience, without a strategy, is not naivety, and it is not evidence that you are being taken advantage of. According to Jung's understanding, it is one of the rarest and most quietly powerful investments a person can actually make, one whose real return often only becomes visible many years after the original, unnoticed kindness was ever offered. Here is what actually matters, and it requires no strategy at all, which is precisely the point. The value of this kindness comes specifically from its genuine, unstrategic consistency, offered regardless of whether anyone is watching or whether any return seems even remotely likely. The moment kindness becomes calculated or transactional, it loses the exact quality that made it valuable in the first place. Think honestly about your own habit of kindness toward people who genuinely cannot offer you anything back, and consider whether you have ever noticed later unexpected warmth returning to you from a direction you never anticipated. Right below the single word for the last small act of kindness you offered a stranger expecting absolutely nothing in return. Naming it and continuing this quiet, unstrategic habit is the real and practical way you keep building exactly the kind of accumulated goodwill that so often, years later, comes back around in a form considerably larger than the original unnoticed gesture. Because being kind to strangers for no reason was never, according to Carl Jung's understanding, naivety or wasted effort. It was one of the rarest and quietest investments a person can actually make, and its real return so often only becomes visible many years after the original kindness has long since been forgotten by everyone except the person who quietly received it.